I was surprised by Unobtainium, but not by Wild Things. I would have to put Wild Things in my top 5, I think, of our songs. And that's hard for me to do because I love all of our songs like they're other children of mine. Like, I mean, literally. Like, I I could talk about our band all day long because that's how much I love what we write. And
This is Rob Ruckus.
Hey, this is Kate Clover.
Hey guys, it's Nick Collins here from The Effect and Better Strangers.
Hi, my name is Madeline Rose.
Hey, it's Ben McKelvey.
It's Tim Howard here from Mike and the Mechanics.
Hello, I'm Amanda Lehman.
I'm Billy Harvey.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Casey Sampson from the band Twist Stop.
Hey, it's Tony from Fastball.
Hello, everybody. My name is Isaiah Mitchell.
Hey guys, it's Matt here from the White Lakes.
You're listening to Almost Famous Magazine.
Come join us for this interview. Check it out, Almost Famous Magazine.
Hey everyone, welcome back to The Hang right here on Almost Famous Magazine. I'm your host, Scott Saldinger. I have a comedy troupe with us tonight, this is where we hang with musicians and artists, so I guess these comedians that I'll be introducing in a moment, we'll let them to share their stories and get in on the joke. But if you're new, please do me a favor. Subscribe, share this. If you joined us before, we have a surprise from the past with us tonight that you may have seen on a previous episode, so I'm super excited about that. But we have big news. You can also now take us on the go wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. So those of you who have been watching The Hang since, go back to May of 2024, you'll recognize one of tonight's guests. While the rest are making their debut on the podcast as a member of the progressive rock band, the Cyberiam, the band has 2 new singles on the way, Endless Whispers. I'm going to say this again, Endless Whispers. If you're a George Michael fan, you're going to be disappointed. It's not a cover. Also, 9 lives. Plus, they've got upcoming live performances at Prog Stock on Sunday, October 12th in the afternoon, and coming up on November 7th at the Stage 119 in Elmhurst, Illinois. I am thrilled to be joined tonight by Keith Semple, lead vocals, guitar, Tommy Murray on drums, Frank Lucas on keyboards, and can I say the new or newish member of the band, Tom Heslin on bass and vocals. Together, they are the Cyberiam. Guys, welcome to Hang.
Together we are Wild Stallion. Oh, no, sorry. The Cyberiam.
Guys, I'm so excited. We're going to have a great chat tonight. But Keith, let's start here. May 24. That seems like forever and a lifetime ago. What have you been up to? What's going on? And what's new since then with the band?
Oh, man. Well, we obviously have this new incredible gentleman in the band, Tom Heslin himself, who has not only brought his sort of cool demeanor to the whole band and chilled us out, but he's also brought his musical talents to the band, and we've created these 2 new singles since, so everybody gets to hear those. I think Endless Whispers is out and about, so go check it out. And we've got 9 lives coming up on October 3rd, and I have to say that I purposely said to Tom before we recorded this song, I said, go to town. I said, this is going to be a bass-tastic song. I don't care if I'm singing at the time. I don't care if Tommy's doing some cool stuff or Frank's doing some. You have free reign because this is your introduction to the world of the Cyberiam. So as awesome as Endless Whispers is, and we love both songs, I'm just saying that 9 Lives is Tom's official introduction.
So did you just say, hey, the bass is going at the top of the mix? Is that what the decision was?
Well, the cool thing is, yeah.
That's a prerequisite.
Well, actually, the first mix had like 0 bass in it.
Yeah, that's true.
So we said, take the bass out. We want him to.
Keith is like, bring the bass, and then you're like, yeah, it's down at like 0 in the mix. All right, I got a question though. I want to know the story of finding Tom. Okay. But I do want to know, because, man, he plays a badass Rickenbacker. Is that the reason you got in the band? How'd you guys find each other?
I'd like to take full credit for that one.
Go for it, Frank.
We found ourselves without a key member. Our bass player had left the band, and Tom quickly came to mind because I just know stylistically he would complete us. He would gel with us rhythmically, sonically. He's the perfect package, and he's a great singer too.
So Tom, why did you, when you get an offer like that, why did you say, okay, I'll hang out with these three hooligans?
The timing was good. The choice was kind of comically obvious for both parties. I thought I was a really good fit for them. They were a really good fit for me. And I mean, even people around town were like, hey, you should probably check this out when, we'd already been talking. I got a call from Frank real early on. First thing was first. We had a show booked at Dirty Nelly's, first time performing material off Unobtainium, which is the last full-length release. So that was, we really focused on that. We didn't get any serious conversations for a long time about whether or not I was going to be permanently on board or whatever the case may be. So we got the show, killed it, videotaped it, released 6 live videos, 6 live audio tracks, all available online, Spotify, YouTube. Anyway, so it was just like I felt like I was abducted by this great band. It's been a fantastic gift.
I think, Tom, I think you only had about 4 rehearsals before that show. And you had to learn.
6. We had 6.
Was it 6? Okay, 5, 6. I mean, and it was within a month span, I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not easy material. But,
no, and the material is it's not insanely difficult, but it certainly isn't easy. He learned it, came in here like a rock star, just knowing it, sounding like it, confidently playing it. And we were just like, this is great. I mean, this is it, just such a gel right away.
I think you guys were a little nervous when I showed up with like no notes or even anything to write on. The first couple of years. Yeah. I eventually compiled those sort of things, but I work on things in layers. And getting back to what Keith was saying about 9 lives, he encouraged me to just go to town, and it really was. I did see it as my introduction to the fans. It's not always easy being the new guy, especially when everybody loved Bryan. But I really spent a lot of time on that. It's some of the most challenging things I've ever played, and I feel good that it's something I created myself. The guitar solo section alone on 9 Lives is just like, it's Rush level jams. The guitar playing's great, the drumming's great. We told Frank had to sit back a little bit, let's do our power trio thing there.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, I'm kind of curious. Who are some of your bass influences that you take a little bit from? Because I think everything in life, all art, is we take a little of somebody and we bring it along and we add a little of ourselves. Given that you played Unobtainium live, you had to bring a little of your own flavor. I'm sure you weren't just absolutely recreating every single line note for note. And now with the new songs, who are some of the influences that you've brought that stylistically are adding to the sound that you're bringing to the band?
Well, I mean, I'm influenced by a lot of the usual suspects, but specific to your question, I think maybe Chris Squire, like his melodic bits. I'm using a pick on just a very small amount of stuff right now with the Cyberiam. I'm usually about half and half in other situations, but I think because right now it's a lot of the older material that already exists, and it just feels right, to do it with fingerstyle on those ones. But yeah, Chris Squire, I mean, it goes back to John Entwistle. I play in a Who tribute band, so that's a lot of fun. And he was really the foundation. He invented modern bass tone, like a couple decades before his time. And guys like Squire and Geddy Lee wouldn't have been who they were, without Entwistle coming first. So I'm also a big Tony Levin fan. A lot of King Crimson stuff, John Wetton, all those guys.
Oh, that's some great influences there. So now let me ask Tommy. I'm kind of curious. Frank brought Tom up to the surface. Was there any initiation that he had to go through with you guys? I mean, because I can't see Frank knowing him and putting him through hell, but
yes,
you and Keith on the other hand.
I'm the nice guy in the band. I am. I'm the nicest.
Yeah,
Cyberiam.
I'd say I think the
Go fuck yourself,
initiation
Frank.
was the song. Yeah, go. That's we'll count that. So that's number
that was
one.
just me
Go fuck yourself.
confirming
There's
that
going to be about
Frank's the
50 of
nice
them
one.
tonight.
Yeah.
No, I think the initiation would probably be.
Hey,
Are you
show in 6 weeks?
We have a show in 5-6 weeks, but the first song Tom came in with that we played was "Are You There?" Wasn't it? "Are You There?"
Probably.
That song is absolutely probably insane. Like the switches and the time signatures going on there, and Tom came in and just nailed it. I mean that was your initiation through fire, man. That song is tough. Yeah. And he came in. It was the first song we did, and it was like it was on. You know, we just knew right away it was on.
Well, we should mention, guys. That,
and I think that's still your favorite tune right now, right, Tom?
Well, it's one of them.
Yeah,
one of 15 or so.
We should mention, guys, that obviously we've worked with Tom a bunch in the past when Tom has played with us in his band Nomadic Horizon. You know, so he had played with us on stage many times at this point. So. In fact, one of my favorite shows was at a little like front room at the Briar House. Still one of my favorite shows to date, even though it wasn't necessarily a huge one. It was just one of those ones that stick in your memory for some reason, I guess. And I just remember watching Tom he was heading his band, you know, as lead singer and bass player. And I just was like, God, I like that guy. I just like how he sounds. I like how he holds himself. You know, there's a way that some people just hold themselves on a stage and stuff. And so we obviously had been well aware of him in the past. It was just, you know, it seemed like the obvious choice then to have this guy that we already knew and respected come and at least play for us, if not join us. And then, of course, it was obvious after he'd played with us a couple of times that this made sense. He had the same kind of mentality as us, the same kind of work ethic as us, and the same kind of desire to just write music and get it out into the world.
There you go.
Tom, I mean, those are some pretty good compliments so far. Are they doing a good enough job to keep you around? I mean,
I think they like me.
All right, as long as they're puffing up your ego there, that's what counts. So let's talk about Endless Whispers and Nine Lives. Look, it's no secret that lyrically, Cyberiam material tends to be there's some social consciousness in there. There's definitely some read between the lines. Talk to us where Endless Whispers and Nine Lives kind of came from lyrically, and then go into it creatively.
Endless Whispers came from two things. It came from a drum beat idea I had up here that I played for Tommy, and then just as usual, it's rare for me to have an actual full beat or something. It's normally a riff in a time, but once in a while, like the middle section of The Fall and I had this kind of like drum pattern in my head, and I said, Tommy, try this and do your Tommy thing to it, basically. And that's how the whole sort of song started, with that little pattern that you hear at the start and end of the song. And then lyrically, of course, it's as metaphorical as I can be, but it's pretty obvious who and what it's about, you know. Yeah. I don't hide my distaste for certain people right now. So, and obviously, like you said, all of the Cyberiam lyrics are greatly influenced by current affairs. However, Nine Lives is just me as an atheist, basically, just me sort of contemplating how I'm not going to go anywhere afterwards. And I'm saying I'd like to have 9 lives, not just one. And so the whole idea is we're singing, you've got this really frantic start, this sort of like, and this whole middle section, and then it gets to this sort of like epiphany where you're just like, screw it, nothing I can do about it. Let's just enjoy life and sing beautiful music is kind of where 9 Lives comes from lyrically. But musically, 9 Lives is very much, I think, more of a collaboration than Endless was, would you say, Tom? Like, as far as like everybody brought so much more things to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I remember you, me, and Tommy had a rehearsal one night, and we made a lot of progress on the second section, the quiet part. That sort of 3 chord thing. So yeah, definitely some collaboration. So what did you have initially on that song? We had the whole front end, right? On Nine Lives.
We had an arrangement that I think, obviously we that one had been partly written with Bryan, and he was never a big fan of it. And so I was always compromising essentially what I felt was a really good thing. And I felt like Tommy and Frank were always kind of like, here, I like some of this and some of this. And then I think that, yeah, sorry, Tom. I'm just saying that basically then we started fresh with it, with fresh ears and with Tom in the room. And that helped us kind of get past those hurdles. And then it just all fell into place from there when we jammed it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tommy, what were you going to say?
For sure.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you that the first incarnation of that song was I was not a big fan of it. It just didn't have the right flow. It just didn't work. When something doesn't work and we're vocal about it, we'll be like, nah, that's not working. I don't really care for that. Or can we change that? Or can we do something with that? And that that song, I think, ended up being left off of the last album, that version of it. And then we kind of recreated it when Tom came into the mix, and the chemistry with Tom just made it work. There were just things that made it, certain parts fit better together. Transitions worked. It just started to have more of a vibe to it than it did before. That's kind of, that's sometimes happens. But I'm glad that song had a pause like it did, and then we came back to it with Tom, because it really brought some fresh life into it.
It's a beautiful thing now.
The last part, I have to add this. The last part of Nine Lives, I feel like it moves me emotionally more than anything we've done.
Yeah,
it is really Keith was putting together we always come with the Cyberiam has a visual aspect to the live shows, and what Keith put together nearly made me cry. The last rehearsal, I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea you were going to do this, and kind of distracted me a little bit from my parts, but oh my gosh, Prog stock folks are going to be in for a really, really emotional roller coaster ride. Beautiful, just beautiful.
Frank, we should mention that the whole point, as we started to write these sections, we decided that we should write that whole section in the knowledge that we would be at Progstock right after its release.
Right.
So that's actually written. I'm going to be announcing that. I've kind of announced it somewhat, but we're going to actually announce it and be posting it for the week, which if this comes out when we think it is, basically it's now this week. So we wrote that whole section. It's going to be a sing-along section. So the last third of Nine Lives was written for the Prog stock audience. They're gonna, half will sing one part, half will sing the other, and they're sung over the top of each other, like a row your boat type of a thing, where one person sings one line and it crosses
singing around.
Over. It's called around.
Yeah,
is that what it's called?
Around.
Kind of like
around.
Prog your boat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
actually, no. If it was Prog, it would be. If it was Prog, it would be Prog your boat. Anyone? No. There'd be an extra beat in there.
Prog your boat.
Well, I mean, look. I mean, it sounds exciting, because I mean, look. There's not. I mean, how many Prog bands do sing-alongs? I mean, it's I mean, I don't know. Anyone want to do a sing along to Carnival 9? I don't know. But so you've got these 2 gigs coming up. My curiosity is, with the changes in the band and what Tom brings, how is that going to impact your set list? Because Unobtainium was almost a year and a half or so ago now. So you've got fresh. We know that these two songs will make the set list. Anything that's that might surprise some people? Have you started to work on the set list?
Set lists are set for both already. I think, as most prog artists would understand, because we've been working on the set for prog stock, the local set we do will be almost the same with a couple of extras, because we'll have some more time in the set than we would for prog stock set, just because the amount of time it goes into learning. And I mean, it sounds silly because you're learning the song you wrote, but they're so complicated and they have to be done so tight. And because we're obviously playing to a click that's playing the visuals along, we have to be note perfect from start to finish in the song. There is no room for error. So it has to be perfect. Yeah. So we're going to add in a couple of classics for the local Chicagoland show that isn't in the prog stock set. Also because we played those at prog stock before anyway. So it's like, so, and also we're trying to do as many different songs as we did when we played prog stock last time. So like, except for one song, I think we're playing that at a tiny snippet of one song, the whole entire set is new, because we don't see the point in doing the same music again for a crowd we've played to, or an event we've played at.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. I'm always curious to get feedback from a band on this, because if people are watching us and they don't know the band, maybe they're going to prog stock, maybe they're going to go find you guys out on the internet and buy your music. Do you hear that? Everybody buy their music. If you, each of you, and Tom, this may be a little different, because this is going to be a little bit more of something that may have been as you were a fan of the band or knew the band. But what are 2 or 3 songs from the Cyberiam in the entire catalog, not a single, maybe a single, whatever, that you feel really is the flavor and defining sound of the band, that if someone was new today, just watching us right now, and they were going to go out and find a couple of songs to really get into the band, what's that appetizer that really whets their appetite for the rest of the band? So I'd like to we're going to take Keith, Frank, and Tom first, or Tommy. Tom, you're going to go last, because I really, as someone who's known the band, I think this should be an interesting answer. But Tommy, why don't you go first? Like, if someone were to just come up to you and say, hey, this is who we are, this is the song you have to start with, what would it be and why?
I'm not going to go with the obvious one, because I'm going to go somewhere in the middle, I think, of our catalog. And I would say, if someone's a prog fan, I use that term like they listen to Dream Theater and band Tool and Pink Floyd or bands like this. I would say I'd go in the middle of our catalog and say Interrogation Room B. That would be my. It's got this arc of everything in it, and it's a very dramatic song. It kind of touches all the bases, all the flavors that we do. We're pretty light in some areas on a lot of our songs, and we get pretty heavy in a lot of our songs. And I think that one balances all of that very well and still has a great melody and a hook to it. That would be my first. That would be something I would recommend to a listener. I have recommended that to people, but Interrogation Room B off of Connected would be my choice.
Excellent. I think by the look on Keith's face, you pass the employee review, so you get a raise next year. Now, Frank, this is not life and death, but remember, you got to keep Keith happy here. No, just kidding.
It is life and death.
Okay,
then it
all
is
right.
life and death.
All right, I didn't want to put too much pressure on you. Frank. How about you? What's a song that you've either you're like, this is the one if you're going to get us, if you're going to really understand us, start here. What's that song for you?
This may be, I don't know how you're going to receive this, but I would have to say 9 Lives is the most Cyberium tune from. It's the most Cyberium like selection out of everything we've ever done. It encompasses thematically, rhythmically, lyrically. I would say, instrumentally, I would say 9 Lives. And I'm not just blowing smoke because I want everyone to hear the new single. It's really that good. And I think it encompasses everything we've done from the previous studio albums. Yeah. Oh, I have to say 9 Lives.
Keith, how did he do? How did he do, Keith?
I'm not gonna, I really want to hear, honestly, as soon as you started asking this question, I just immediately was thinking, I wonder what Tom would pick. I want to hear Tom. If you don't mind, I don't want to mess with your algorithm here, Scott, but I wouldn't mind hearing Tom's answer first, just so I can put a lid on it at the end, if you don't mind.
No, I think that's fine. I mean, Tom has a different perspective, right?
Right.
So
I'm fascinated by this. This is a great question.
And Tom, don't worry about it. He's going to keep you around. So whatever you answer with, you'll be fine.
I mean, I have 2 in mind. Unobtainium being one of them. I think that captures a lot of what the Cyberium is. It's got dynamics, cool beginning, kind of mysterious, epic riffs as we get along and stuff like that. I would also say Wild Things. That one's pretty intense. There's a lot going on, a lot of changes, a lot of cool changes and jam sections. So Unobtainium or Wild Things, somewhere in the middle.
All right. What do you think of that, Keith?
I was surprised by Unobtainium, but not by Wild Things. I would have to put Wild Things in my top 5, I think, of our songs. And that's hard for me to do because I love all of our songs like they're other children of mine. Like, I mean, literally. Like, yeah. I could talk about our band all day long because that's how much I love what we write and how much I believe in it. Maybe it's because I play cover music for a living, and don't get me wrong, it's a great living, but I think I enjoy playing original music even more because I've spent my life playing other people's. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Wild Things to me is one of our best songs. I actually had a friend of mine in England who's a musical director for a thing called Young Voices. He's one of the most amazing musicians on earth. And he did the overdub parts. He's doing Oscar Wilde's voice for us on that song. Love it. So great. Okay, Tom, you passed that. Right. I would have to say that there's 2 for me. And ironically, it's the first ever song and the last ever song. I'm with Frank. So Alice in Afterland is the first song on the first album. Every time that intro starts, I get chills to this day. Because when I was putting that start together with that weird thing and all these little piano silly things on the top and stuff, I was just sort of like throwing shit at the wall and seeing what would sound weird together and what wouldn't, and wanted it to sound really dark because then Tommy comes in with the big drum roll. So Alice in Afterland has, big heavy riff, big middle section, really beautiful melodic verses and choruses, and then that big melodic ending and a pretty decent guitar solo. And some cool parts for Frank to let loose on the organ, so it's one of these roller coasters. And 9 Lives is that for me too. But also 9 Lives, and I want to talk about this whenever you're ready, Scott, is I think the difference with the 2 new songs, and I have to sort of be derogatory towards myself here somewhat, is that we've had the 2 new songs mixed by someone else.
Oh,
and that is
really
all
good.
The difference in the world.
Wow.
Like, I've always felt like Cyberium's music was here, to me, as good as we can make it, 90%, 100%. And the mix of mine was always 70%, and then this is the first time we've released something where both parts of it are at the top of the game. And that is why I think when I hear Nine Lives, I'm like, oh, that's how Cyberiam has always meant to sound. Endless Whispers, that's how we've always meant to sound. I've been trying to get Tommy's snare drum the way he's liked it for 8 years now. And it's really good. But, you know, I'm just missing that pa and that smack and that ga and that badoosh and whatever other term Tommy likes to use to describe the sound of a snare. You know that smack, but it's not the ga, it's the goo. And it's like, I am so happy that this song now is mixed at a professional level that honestly, the feedback we've had from the people we've sent it to that are in the industry, right? You know, the people that we know we can trust to throw it out to in our musical circles, they've all come back and going, oh my goodness, this is good. I'm sorry, I know I'm rambling here.
No, I was going to get to that. I was going to get Keith. I was going to point that out actually. I've listened to the songs. There is absolutely a difference in the texture of those songs. 100% there's a difference in the texture of those songs, for sure.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that we actually have final mixes of those by me. And Tommy, Frank, and Tom all signed off on it. They all were really happy with them. I was happy with them. It was the best mix I've ever done. It was better than Unobtainium. It's better than Connected. It's better than the first album. Each album was better than the last as far as production goes because I got better at it as I went along. And this was better again. And it's like there's the original album, Connected, Unobtainium, my new mixes, and then Steve Hardy's mixes. And so I'm not afraid to admit it.
Yeah, so let's talk about Steve Hardy. How did he get involved with you to mix these? Was there a relationship already there? Was this hey, I'd really like him, I know him, I want him to do this for us? How did that all happen? Because there is absolutely a difference.
I have to admit it's just a little bit of an ego deflator for me is just that I sent Andy Van Dett, who's the guy who's a mastering art engineer. He's done every single one of our products except for I think the Unplugged live that we did. He's worked with Rush and all these amazing bands, right? All the best bands in our genre. And we were honored when he agreed to master our first album, right? And he would always say, I like your mixes, but, they don't have that polish that other ones do. And this time, he just said, you know what, Keith, it's good, but would you just consider this time, because they're singles, would you consider letting Steve just let him do a mix of it and see how you feel? And 1 week later, which still annoys me, by the way, 1 week later, he sent a mix that was 90% of what you hear now as the final mixes. It was on his first try. And it was 20% better than my best ever mix. And I was like, all right, screw it. I'm never mixing again. Everything we ever do from here on out is going to Steve.
Okay, so guys,
yeah,
Keith, you can't answer this, but how much did that annoy Keith? Let's be honest. That suddenly
no, he was ecstatic. He was so happy about it. He wasn't annoyed at all. He was like, thank God we have someone making us sound like us, I think that was the whole idea, and Keith's mixes are amazing. I love Connected there's some songs on there I absolutely love the mixes on. A lot of people disagree with me, but I love that sound. There's certain sounds that Keith nailed. And, but Steve is a Grammy nominated guy. He's got multi-platinum albums that he's done. He's worked, with the Goo Goo Dolls and all kinds of artists. I mean, Keith, he's worked, he did some Neil Peart tracks on some, not on Rush's albums, but on some other stuff that Neil Peart did. I mean, the guy has worked with Jay-Z, right? I mean, the guy has done a ton of stuff. He's been around for a long time.
Yeah. And honestly, it was a relationship that I realized that not only am I happy that our music sounds the way it should now, but I'm happy because I don't have to spend 3 months trying to get a song to sound that
That's
good.
true.
Right.
Like
Yep.
you have to understand, for me to get a song to the level that we're ready to release, it takes me months. Obviously because I'm a busy guy too with all the other things I do in my life, but also just because I don't, I have 2 speakers and a laptop and 1 input device. I don't have any of the fancy gear. It's all done inside the computer. And yeah, I mean, I'll send you, Scott, just so you can hear them because I'm proud of them. I'll send you the original mixes. And then when you A-B them, if you just heard the original mixes, you'd probably go, yeah, it's a great song or whatever. But then you hear the things that everybody's hearing now, and you just go, Jesus. Our live engineer, Rob, who used to mix my band Semple for a long time. He's moved on now. He's got a career and other things, but he'll still come and mix us in Cyberiam if he's free. He's always going to be our sort of engineer, just because we used him as we used him with Semple, and he knows us. And I sent him it about 2 weeks ago, and he just called me like a split second later, and he just couldn't get over it. He just couldn't get over how good it was. He goes, I've been sitting listening for 20 minutes trying to find a comment, and I can't find anything. There's nothing I would change.
Yeah.
And this is another solid engineer with a solid ear.
You know what I like about this? I remember talking to you about the last album, and it, the mixing is stressful on you, all that stuff. You weren't as jubilant about the final result as you are now, which makes me excited, because what's next? Are you guys already working on it? Is there going to be an album? You guys got some more songs? What's happening here? I want everybody to know that, just because there are 2 new singles out and it's Tom's Trial by Fire doesn't mean that that there's not more coming down the pipe. What is 26 going to look like?
Does anybody else want to take this, or do you want me to answer this too?
Frank, how about you? Frank, you've been saying too much.
I just play keyboards.
But nicely, you're the nice keyboard player.
I'm the nice keyboard player. I actually, you want to tell them, Keith, about the Affected song?
Yes.
I have my own additions that I'd like to.
So
when we get together,
we were talking. Tom was talking earlier about how parts have come from things, and Tommy was saying how we kind of sometimes things get shelved. Like, for example, Trolls was the first thing ever written, I think, for the Cyberiam. That weird sort of finger picking thing that I wrote, and it's in a really weird time signature, and that got put away for 3 albums worth till we revisited it, and it just came to life, and now it's great. But this affected riff, we call it affected because it's got this weird drone tone thing to it that was just a preset in the Helix that I have. And I've loved it since I ever wrote it. And then these guys started jamming, and we jammed it. And we got this really cool thing. And I sent it to Tom, and he's like, oh, this is really grooving. Like, we need to work on this. And now that we have Steve, which is this is the logical next part to what we were talking about, is now that we have Steve, all we need to do is record the parts. We don't need to mix the parts. So we are going to write as soon as we're done with Prog Stock. We will mix writing with practicing for the November 7th show, but we'll hopefully have a new song written by the end of the year. And then all we need to do is get Tommy in here to my studio, which is just to my right here, and we'll record the drums as cleanly as we can, like we did. That's where the drums came from for these new songs. And Tom just can do so much of a better job recording his bass than I ever could. So, and then Frank will come in with me and do it in here as well. When that's all done and all the vocals and stuff are done, I'm sending it to Steve, and it'll be ready in a couple of weeks. So in an ideal world, 6 weeks after that can be released because of all the uploads to the digital things, right? It takes a couple of months. So my goal would be March for another song. And I think we're just going to do it that way. I don't think unless somebody picks us up like K-Scope or one of these, really cool labels.
Inside Out, yeah.
Yeah, we're just going to release stuff when we're ready now. I don't think we're going to worry about albums or anything. We're just going to put them out and have new content for people constantly, because that seems to be the way the world works now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because it's a big decision. It's really a big decision in this day and age to say, okay, we're going to go out and make an album. And where's it going to take us? And I'm not talking about artistically, right? Because you can put an album out today and it bankrupts the band. I mean, there's very little financial joy in what the business has become in that respect. And there seemed to be, it's interesting that some people are like, I'm going to do a song a month, a song a quarter. When I get 5 of them together, then I'll do an EP. It seems to be a little bit all over the place these days, but I like the idea now of getting I hate the word content, but getting content, getting a new song from somebody. It's just dropping out of nowhere, right? It just came from nowhere. I didn't have to wait for an album. And especially with you guys, I mean, a lot of stuff is a little longer format, so you get a lot more meat on the bone anyway when you buy it. But so March, I'm going to be looking forward to that, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing those 2 sets of mixes. I think you're onto something there. And then maybe you never know. Maybe this is what gets you that deal. That gets you an album. You never know.
Yeah, on that same topic, as far as releasing songs versus releasing albums, you release an album, you got in our case, probably like 8 to 10 songs on it. It's so hard to get attention for anything. So you can put out an album, and 9 of those songs are going to get forgotten about. If you're lucky, not all 10 of them. If you're releasing a song at a time, there's just, as Keith says, it's content. There's always something coming out. So if they forget about one song, we got another one coming right up behind it. And it's not like the whole album is like, bombed or whatever.
Oh, you did remind me though, because we should promo this. And Tom, thank you for reminding me of this. But what we did do, because Prog Stock was coming up, we had this all timed. But we have actually put the 2 songs on our first ever best of CD. So it's a double disc CD with 16 songs on it, including the 2 new ones. And it's our sort of favorite picks from all the 3 albums. So that way it can be a because a lot, we always get the question, where can we buy it physically? Because people that are prog fans generally tend to want the physical thing. So the only place you can buy it the only place you can buy this best of CD will be physical. We're not putting that up online. The 2 songs go up online as singles, but this is called Moore's Law, or Moore's Law, as Americans would say. It's got 16 songs on it, all of our favorites from the different albums, plus the 2 new singles. And you can only buy it at shows or probably the Bandwagon USA, or maybe what's it called, Bandcamp as well. But you can't get it like as a digital version because they're already all out there anyway, except for the 2 new ones.
No, I like that. I mean, yes, you're absolutely right. Look, for what it's worth, I think the difference between a listener these days is, for the most part, a prog listener is going to prog listeners going front to back because they understand how an album was tracked and getting from song to song and all that other stuff. But there are many people nowadays, it's just a collection of 12 singles they could have just put out individually, and it doesn't have anything to tie to. So, physical media, you get a lot of people still big collectors of vinyl, big collectors of CDs. I have a friend who's just buying CDs and vinyl because, they're confident when the apocalypse comes, they're not going to be able to get anything off, online. So they want to have their music. But so what we're going to do is you're going to get me all of the links to that stuff because I want people to go out and buy it. I want people to support this band. It is super, super important. Not only this band, every band. If you're passionate about listening to music, if you're passionate about the fact that art doesn't come for free, you've got to go out and support your bands. Guys, as we start to kind of turn the corner, because we know what's coming in 26, we like to put some really nice things out in the universe. I think it's always great when you can throw something out there and you never know where it's going to land. And I will tell you that from guests who have been on this podcast before, guy drove 6 hours to an album preview show in Germany. Guy who was living in Germany drove to Munich, but he's from San Francisco, and he saw on the podcast, he actually saw the episode. I was in a show with Kate Clover here in Dallas, and she was opening up, and a guy showed up, runs in the lobby, goes, "Oh my God, I learned about you a couple of days ago. I saw you on a podcast," and I happened to be standing next to her, and he goes, "You're that guy." So I know that we're getting out there to people. So that being said, I want to see if we can make something really cool happen. And you each get one guess at this. I did have a guest try and take 3 one time. It's too much time, and one is enough. People can't focus on too much. So I want to go through each of you. And since Tom's the new guy, he's going to go first. If each of you had an opportunity to collaborate with someone in a studio for a day, create some new music, write a lyric, just jam together, have that experience, who would it be? And more importantly, why? Who would it be for you, Tom?
Oh boy. God. Oh my. That's a tough one. I mean, I feel kind of like maybe Matt Bellamy from Muse, but I feel like he might be such a self-contained guy. I don't know how much of a collaborator he is. Or maybe Peter Gabriel. I'm thinking like great singers. Like that's the most important thing for me is it would be a great singer.
Well, wouldn't that come down to your charm to pull that out of them? To be able to communicate and get it out of them, Tom? I mean, I'm going to put the earnest on you there. I'm going to put the weight on you. All right. Frank, how about you?
I love the Peter Gabriel suggestion, but I remember back in 95, it was, I caught Dave Matthews doing a show, and it was just him at a bookstore, and he was incredible, absolutely incredible. Stripped down versions of songs that he ended up playing and recording with his Dave Matthews Band, and he's someone it was so disrespectful, but when I first saw him, I considered him to be like a poor man's Sting. Not just like lyrically or vocally, how they kind of sound similar, but they're so disrespectful. He was much more than that, and he is definitely someone I enjoyed lyrically, vocally, and how he grooves and almost like puts you in a trance state. That's why I loved him so much, and someone I'd love to collaborate with.
What's his drummer's name, Tommy? Do you know that? He's bloody awesome.
Carter Buford.
God,
Manu
I could listen to him all day, man.
Dave Matthews, drummer.
Oh, Carter. Dave Matthews, drummer. Carter Buford, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Peter Gabriel, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
They've been a customer of mine for like 25 years.
Oh, wonderful.
Got a DMB case. Yeah, in fact, I just sent out a Hammond B3 case like a couple days ago.
Nice. Well, Tommy, how about you? Who would it be?
Oh man, it's so collaborate in the sense that like create some material, write a song, you can, something like that, right?
But no. I mean, it could be you could write something together, you can jam, or have the experience, learn something. But who would be that person that if you could get into a studio with for one day, and it would mean the world to you? Who would it be and why?
Honestly, it probably would be Stewart Copeland, because he's such a multi-instrumentalist. He's an orchestrator, he's a drummer. I grew up playing in, orchestras as a high schooler and a college student and a jazz musician in college, and then, into rock, and everything else. He's got such a deep knowledge base of music as well. Like, I think it would just be fascinating to spend a day with him and just be around him and learn from him. I think that's someone who, very personal to me. That would be a lot of fun. And I think I would learn, and it would be an amazing experience. Stewart Copeland is the man.
Good choice. Keith.
Ooh, I would have to do. I would have to do two because I'd have to pick a prog guy and then just a regular, popular music artist. Just because I'm so down the middle in that world, I can't. You know what I mean? Like my world has been both those things.
So you want to spend a day in the studio with Taylor Swift making a pop song? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm not making a pop song, but.
Wait. Not careful. Travis is watching.
I could take him.
You go to the gym. You go to the gym constantly.
I could take him. Yeah.
All right, two. Who?
Let me see. I have to say Bryan Adams from the pop side, rock side, because I based my early career on him, and that's why I sound the way I do. Like, as most people that listen to me know, like, I don't know if I would actually sing the way I sing if it wasn't for Bryan Adams. Like, so you know what I mean? So like, a lot of people hear me sing when I do a cover of him, and they think it's him because I purposely even age it up a little more. But so Bryan Adams, because I think he's the epitome of what a musician should be. He's in it for the right reasons. He's still doing it 45 years later, and I, fingers crossed, when I'm his age, will have the same vocal ability that I do now, which he still does, which is insane.
Yeah, he does.
He still sounds as good in 2025 as he did in 83. And it's incredible. So Bryan Adams for the pop side of things, and God, that's so tough. I would have to say Guthrie Govan. Just because anybody that he's ever, he seems to, he works for people like Steven Wilson and all these guys, and he just, whatever he adds, he just sprinkles gold. It's like already this good, and then he just comes in and drops fairy dust over the top. And I would love to work with, I guess, a guitar player that's so infinitely better than I could ever be. I think he is the best guitar player that ever walked the earth. I don't know if there's a better guitar player on earth or ever has been on earth than Guthrie Govan. I would love to see if I could even slightly hang,
So he works with Steve Wilson. So Craig Blundell, if you're watching, hook Keith up, would you please?
Hey, I got a drum lesson from Craig.
Can I just tell you, we can cut this bit if I shouldn't mention this. Like, you can cut it, Scott. But like, Megan just texted me. But our friend Megan that we were on the Riverside tour with and invited me to come hang out with Stephen on Wednesday night. And I can't, because I'm going to Vegas to sing a show for this thing I do with the NXS lead singer. I'm going to be doing his job in Vegas on Thursday. I can't.
Cancel it. Cancel it, dude.
It's paying my mortgage for the next 3 months. So.
Okay. Somebody needs to stand in. Is it going to be Tommy, Tom, or Frank are standing in for you then?
Don't worry. I'll stand in for you.
I'm going to be there.
Look at this. I love it. Guys got your back, buddy.
They got your
back. Yeah. It would be an honor to go and see that guy. I've always admired Steven Wilson's writing too. So obviously had the pleasure of touring with Gavin Harrison for a while when we did a bit of the Pineapple Thief tour, and it was epic getting to just stand 3 feet from him while he's doing his sound check and just listen to just the way he plays and the way he sounds. I think it's a pretty epic thing to experience.
I know it well because that's how we first met here in Dallas. So I know it well. I'm hoping to catch that tour when they're here in Dallas. Dallas is their last night in America. So I'm hoping I can get in there and take some pictures. We'll see what happens. Craig likes my photography for the stuff I did with Steve Hackett. So we'll see what happens.
That's awesome.
So
nice.
Yeah. I got my fingers crossed. I get my hopes up to like just take pictures of people. So you never know. Before we wrap this up, guys, it is so important that I just reiterate to everyone: go out and buy their music, buy their merch, buy the tickets to the shows, go see this band, enjoy them, support them, because no art is free. Every bit of art comes with a cost, and it'd be less of a world if we didn't have the Cyberiam music in it. So you've got to go out and support them. Just don't sample them somewhere and then go, okay, fine, and then not support them. All your musicians. That being said,
Scott,
I love
one thing. I'm sorry to interrupt. One thing I wanted to mention earlier, and I didn't get a chance to, was we were talking about Steve mixing us. A lot of the audience that is listening right now would probably know John Petrucci. He's mixed John Petrucci's stuff, so he's mixed the 2 new songs of ours. So that's another recognizable artist that the audience will know. John Petrucci.
Excellent.
So there you go.
Excellent. I'll make sure that's going to end up in our show notes for sure. Because at this point, we've been at this, guys, for 55 minutes. I mean, hopefully people are staying awake with us. I know. See, time flies. And I don't want to leave without getting in your heads a little bit on one thing that I find fascinating. It helps me find new people to listen to. Helps me remember sometimes that I've taken a classic and left it by the wayside and haven't listened to it in a while. But like we're sitting here just having a beer and hanging out. I always like to wrap things up with asking, like, whether it's Keith at the gym, because that's where he is all the time if he's not making music, at the gym, out on a walk, enjoying some free time, driving in the car, whenever you're not making your music. Who are 1 or 2 artists that you're currently like jamming out to, that you just got you're like can't get enough of, you're like you're really enjoying it, whether it be a new artist, an artist or hell, an album for 25 years ago. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I just I watched Complete Unknown a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, wow, I haven't listened to Dylan in a long time. So who would a couple be that you guys can share to the people still hanging out with us, and give them a little perspective on what you enjoy listening to, as well as maybe something they may enjoy as well. Frank, why don't you go first?
You won't believe this. I'm a huge prog guy. ELP, yes, Genesis, Rush, Dream Theater. I'm very, very much into that whole genre. And but lately, recently, I've been getting into newer artists, young artists like Benson, Boone, Chapel Roan. I've even, one of the best albums I own right now is the new Lady Gaga album. And I think the keyboard work on there is sensational. And the songwriting, she's plateaued. I mean, she hasn't done anything this good in years. And that's what I've been listening to recently, just the younger artists.
Nice. Tom, how about you? What have you been listening to?
Well, I mean, if I'm cruising around in the car, I want to put something on. There's a band out of Australia, a prog band called Southern Empire, that I like a lot. Their first couple albums, they kick ass. They've got great vocals, great musicianship. They really should be better known. I mean, I have a lot of styles I'm into. I was into like a lot of post-punk new wave stuff when I was coming of age back in the early 80s. So I can go from like The Cure to Typo Negative to Ministry, KMFDM, which, a lot of that stuff doesn't come out very often these days, but like a lot of classic rock. I mean, I can always listen to Zeppelin. David Bowie is one of my number one people. Like, Bowie is just a genius, fantastic, versatile songwriter. So, yeah, I will put Bowie at the top.
Nice. Tommy, how about you?
It's funny, Frank and I have some similarities right now in terms of what we're listening to. So I've got two girls, and I end up listening to a lot of Taylor Swift, like you mentioned. I listen to Tate McRae. But actually, one of my favorites right now is Sabrina Carpenter. I actually really like her new album. I think it's really good. I'm not afraid to say it. I put it on just to parent check it, and I was like, man, this songwriting is pretty damn good. And I hear a lot of the new music, and because my daughters listen to it, and a lot of it I don't like, but I actually really like her stuff. So that's kind of different. Tom, you mentioned Southern Empire. I played with Sean Timms, the keyboard player on in the UFP. Actually, Keith recorded the drums for it, the United Progressive Fraternity. So I've done a few songs for them and played with Sean Timms before. So that's kind of funny you mentioned that.
He was the main writer with Southern Empire.
With Southern Empire, yeah. So, but anyways, Sabrina Carpenter, yeah, exciting.
Nice. Wow. So Keith, I'm interested in what you're listening to, considering that like you mentioned, you do your other band, you're playing a lot of everyone else's music, so you get to sample just about everything under the sun. But like when you're not doing it, what do you enjoy? What are you enjoying these days?
Well, I'm just looking right now through because I wanted to see if it would pique one of my interests. But who? I tell you what, the way we talked about lyrics. And we talked about it having an impact. Well, Frank, that bit at the end of 9 Lives, Colin Hay, he's the Men at Work lead singer.
Yes. Just saw him a couple of weeks ago. Yes, of course.
So he has these unplugged, just him and an acoustic versions and songs that he writes. There's 2 songs. One is called Beautiful World, and it's just a stream of consciousness of him talking about what the reasons why he loves being alive. It's like, my, it's a beautiful world. I like drinking Irish tea. I like, with a little bit of lip sync, shouchon. You see what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know what it is about it. It makes me emotional to the point of tears every time I listen to it. And his other song is called Waiting for My Real Life to Begin. And I swear, if any man over the age of 40 can listen to that song from start to finish and not be in tears at the end of it, I don't know how they do it. Because he talks about sort of waking up and he's waiting for that call, but it never comes. That call for the record deal or that call for the, and just look it up. It's called Waiting for My Real Life to Begin. And it's like basically like he's going to wake up and be 90 one day and realize that it's all gone. And the whole time he was waiting for it to start. I just think it's the most bloody beautiful lyric I've ever heard. And it's on my like Keith's. Actually, I have a shared Spotify playlist called Keith's Favorite Ballads. And it's got, everything on it from Bonnie Raitt to John Mayer to all the old Bon Jovi stuff that's nobody really knows, but I love. And it's got those 2 songs on it as well. Prog wise, I do like, what are they called? IQ, is it? They have a song called
IQ, yes.
The Road
IQ.
of Bones or something.
Yeah.
They sound kind of like a Pink Floyd cover band almost. I don't mean that in a negative way. Like they've taken the cool stuff that like Division Bell feel and made their own, thing, which is fine. Trying to think of who. Oh, Flying Colors. Have you heard of Flying
Colors? Yes.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Yeah.
I just came across them recently. And then, of course, for me, Spock's beard, because somebody told me, we've been compared to them a lot. And somebody told me, like, hey, you guys sound like Spock's beard. So I, of course, went and listened and went, oh, shit, yeah, we do. But I always find that as a compliment when I've never really heard something, but then find out that we sound a little like it. It makes me feel good because I know it wasn't like there was any rip-off going on.
You know why, Keith? Because their keyboard player is Asian.
You can hear it. You can hear the Asian.
You can hear it.
You can hear it in the keys. You can hear it in the keys. I love that.
In the keys, yeah.
I love that. Well, now,
Yeah.
I mean, Keith, look, I mean, you've got to, you know, go hang out in Nashville when Nick isn't on the road with Big Train and all the bands that he's in. And, maybe you'll make that connection. God, first of all, I love doing this because Colin Hay, total wild card. And I love him. And honestly, Keith, wasn't a big Men at Work fan. It was just a lot of pop, right? It didn't have a lot of meat on the bone, but the older he's gotten, the more thoughtful he is with his music and his lyrics, and he's just incredible now. So total wild card. I love it. I absolutely love it. I've been enjoying, just to give you guys a couple, because I've been really into garage rock and stuff lately. There's a band out of Las Vegas that I came upon and had them here on the podcast called The Implosions. And they've got one album out. Now, here's the cool thing. It's garage rock. The lead singer is a history teacher. See, the history buff. So the best way I can describe this album is it's like landing in Las Vegas for a 3-day bender. And by the end of the album, you've experienced everything Vegas has to offer, highs and lows, and you're lying in the gutter with your last $5 and you got to get back to the airport with some sense of self-worth. It's really good. It's a lot of fun, and it's kind of you on a story. What album that they start the album, the first song's Evil Knievel. What can go wrong there? So I've really enjoyed them. I've really enjoyed them. So guys, this has been fantastic. Right, this has been fantastic. I'm glad we finally got everybody on the same episode to talk. I definitely, look, 26, you never know what could happen. We may be doing this again. I wish you guys all the best. I wish I could be out of Prog stock. Everybody support the Cyberiam. I'm going to put all the links in below. Buy the old stuff, buy the new stuff, buy the new greatest hits. The only way you're going to get it is in physical media. So if you have library syndrome, you have to own it. Guys, it's been great. Tommy, Tom, Frank, good getting to know you. Keith, it's always great to see you, and thank you so much for hanging with me.
Thank you,
Pleasure, Scott. Thanks again, man.
Absolutely. Everybody go out and support the Cyberiam, and be kind to one another, and come back for the next episode. We'll see you here on The Hang soon. Thanks, everybody.